This set was added to the game with Update 19 Wolf Hunter, which launched in August of 2018. The biggest changes to come with this update were to werewolves and the nerfing of snaring and defiling effects. With the revamping of werewolves, they will become viable options for DPS in dungeons as well as PvP. Blood Moon can be obtained by running the 4-man dungeon Moonhunter Keep, which requires the Wolf Hunter DLC, as this set is bind on pickup and cannot be acquired from other players. The style of the set is Huntsman, which will be obtainable in Update 20, when its motifs are added to the drop pool of the Moonhunter Keep final boss on Veteran difficulty. Since this is a dungeon set, you can get weapons, shields, armor, and jewelry, but the armor will always come in medium. The traits on this armor are random, so you may have to farm several times in order to get the ones you need, but the jewelry for this set comes with a robust trait. Keep in mind that you can use transmutation to change traits if you wish, but you will need the Somerset expansion if you wish to transmute jewelry. Blood Moon increases your light attack damage by 30% and attack speed by 50% for 5 seconds after critically striking with light attacks 5 times in a row within 8 seconds, which refreshes each time you critically strike. This bonus has an 18-second cooldown, much like Mechanical Acuity. There is no way to extend the duration of this buff. Jorvold Guidance has no effect. Proc sets are sets that have a chance to apply some effect called procking are becoming more popular in ESO and seemingly added every major update. Proc is short for Programmed Random Occurrence. When the conditions of the proc set are met, the effect will trigger. However, not all proc sets work the same way, and some apply buffs that remain on you whether you continue to wear the set or not. Learning how to use proc sets effectively is extremely important for min-maxing, especially in PvP. An important thing to note is that proc sets can no longer critically strike or critically heal as of Update 13 Homestead, so as to reduce their effectiveness in Cyrodiil. In addition, many proc sets have cooldowns to keep them from being abused. When choosing a proc set to use, if you're so inclined, you want to not only look at the effect, but how often you can apply it. Finding sets with little or no cooldown is ideal because it allows you to trigger them frequently. Blood Moon has an 18-second cooldown, however it lasts 5 seconds, meaning its cooldown is effectively 13 seconds. This is one of the highest cooldowns for any proc set in the game. How Blood Moon works is, each time you critically strike with a melee light attack, you gain 1 stack of blood scent for 8 seconds. Each time you critically strike with a melee light attack during those 8 seconds, your stack increases by 1 and you have another 8 seconds to critically strike with a light attack again. When you reach 5 stacks, you become frenzied and your light attack damage is increased by 30% and light attack speed increased by 50% for 5 seconds. If you fail to reach 5 stacks before your blood set runs out, then you will start over from 0, but the set will not go on cooldown. Note that this only increases your melee light attack speed and not your attack speed in general or your ranged light attack speed. Although many stamina DPS weave light attacks into the rotation when doing dungeons and trials, this set is best suited for werewolves. Stamina DPS will not want to spam light attacks for 5 seconds every 18 seconds, and they often use a bow, which does not work with this set. In addition, werewolves set bleeding when they light attack, and they don't have any other damaging skills that they could use in their rotation other than Piercing Howl and Infectious Claws. In my opinion, this set's purpose was to make werewolves competitive in PvE content. Notes for PvE players. As mentioned above, if you're using this set, you should really be playing a werewolf, and this guide is really tailored to players who are. If you are new to playing a werewolf or haven't played one in a long time, the first thing I suggest you do is check out my werewolf guide and learn the basics. Things have changed a lot over time, and they are changing more in Update 19, so you'll probably want a refresher. Secondly, if you're playing a werewolf with this set, you'll need to choose which monster helm set and another set to pair it with. Mulleg Cana seems too good to be true because it increases your weapon damage significantly just for doing 2 light attacks in a row on a target, which synergizes well here. In deciding which other set to choose, I have done some testing so that you can compare how well each has performed. In each case, I simply wailed on a training dummy using a rotation of Keeping Up Infectious Claws and Major Brutality, mixed with light attack after light attack only. Please note that champion points, Mundus, the Thief, and food all remain the same, and the only thing different about each testing is the changing of the second set. In addition, these numbers are not the highest DPS you can deal because all of my gear except Mulleg Cana was purple and enchants and traits were not optimized. Also, please keep in mind that there is about a 5% margin for error as I did not have a perfect rotation each time. Even with a margin for error, you can see that Arms of Reliquin is the victor here in terms of total DPS over about 2 minutes it takes to defeat the dummy. Of the 9 sets tested, Mechanical Acuity has the highest burst damage potential, as you can proc it and frenzy at the same time, resulting in crazy damage in a very short span. If I had changed the Mundus to the Shadow, I believe this set would perform much closer to Reliquin as well. Otherwise, there isn't a huge difference between other sets tested, making Hunting's Rage, Griffin's Ferocity, and Briarheart alternative choices because they will also affect the damage of Infectious Claws, which hits multiple targets in dungeons or trials. Notes for PvP players. Blood Moon is not an ideal set for PvP werewolves because it is much harder to get 5 crits with light attacks in the limited time given, and if you somehow manage to, then you have a very short period to deal substantial damage. You may be CC'd during that time or simply not be able to stay on your target as well. There is some good news, however, which is that even though the set does not work against blocking targets, it does against damage shields. Since there are so many players who utilize them, this is some relief. In terms of sets to use, PvP werewolves may wish to swap out Malagkana for something with more burst damage such as Selene or Veladreth, or even something that provides a bit more survivability such as Mighty Chuden. For their second set, things become much less clear because there are so many possible scenarios. It really depends on how you play and what type of PvP. Sets that may work as well are Mechanical Acuity. This set, when everything works right, has insane burst damage and can take someone down very, very quickly. However, it doesn't always work out that way. Viper's Sting. A solid choice here because it procs reliably and deals poison damage, which may help against other werewolves after the update. Salvation. This is a great choice for PvP where you'll spend quite a bit of time not in werewolf form, and although it won't increase your damage as much as some other sets, it will allow you to play as a werewolf more often. Briarheart. What's great about this set is that it not only makes you deal increased damage, but also heals you at the same time. Consider this set if you need more healing. Essence Thief. This set not only provides you with additional healing, which all werewolves can use, but also more stamina. You will find you need stamina far more to block, dodge roll, break free, and sprint as a werewolf than to attack, so this is a decent choice. Shacklebreaker. An all-around great set for PvP in general, but it gives werewolves more magicka, which is useful in increasing the amount of heals they pull off. Armor of Truth. This set not only has max stamina, it has tons of weapon damage, which is procced by using Roar. Werewolves might be the only ones who can take full advantage of this set. Final tips. You can craft potions that give stamina, major brutality, and major savagery, allowing you to take the morph of Hircine's bounty that heals for more instead and allowing you to still keep these buffs. Werewolves have no way to gain major savagery otherwise unless they use a set that provides it. This will give you exceptionally high critical strike chance, which should be something around 40 to 70% depending on your Mundus Stone. Claws of Life is instrumental in keeping you alive while playing as a werewolf, more so in PvP than PvE, but it is still much needed either way. Be sure to strike as many targets with it as you can in order to gain massive healing over time. Remember that heals can critically strike as well, and since you have high values, you should gain substantial healing from this morph. Remember to place significant points into Physical Weapon Expert, Man-at-Arms, and Mighty in order to increase your light attack damage. Precise strikes will also help because of the high critical strike chance, and it will also help with healing. Thaumaturge helps with light attack bleed and with the damage Claws of Life deals, which in turn means more healing as well since it's based on the damage you deal. Lastly, as of update 18, light attacks now gain about the same amount of damage from stamina as they do from weapon damage, which is great because werewolves gain plus 30% max stamina for being transformed. You no longer need to worry about adding raw weapon damage and can stack stamina instead if you wish. To calculate how much your light attacks will deal, roughly, simply divide your stamina by 10 and add it together with your weapon damage, and then multiply the result by about 68% and you'll be in the ballpark. Stay tuned as I'll be covering the rest of the Wolf Hunter sets, and be sure to check out our other SO guides.